Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Premier League with FPL Wizard. I hope you're all fine. I hope you're having a great season. I hope you're having a great time. I hope you're keeping healthy. So I welcome you to this Game Week 27 deadline stream. It's a pretty fast turnaround times, and we're trying to keep up with all the information that's kind of coming our way, and all the statistics as well that we have to keep our eyes on as well. I think I had a decent-ish game week 26. I think the main problem with my team currently is that I've been free rolling kind of without Ambumo. And that's been hurting me, especially in that game week in which he scored 19 points, and then he scored 14 points in this last game week as well. I brought in UN Wissa, and he was robbed of an kind of an assist as well. I thought it was a Wissa assist, but they didn't give it to him. So all in all, it was a decent game week. I can't say that it was a very, very good game week because I was also an assistant manager, so Glasner contributed chunk of the points as well. So overall, I'm very close to 1 million now. Been down in the doldrums, 2.53 millions. That's the kind of ranks I've been on, but recently there's been a bit of an uptick, and I'm still on 1 million, but I've got all my chips left, so I'm hoping that we can finish the season with a flurry and kind of do well, but we're gonna take it from there. So this was about my last game week score, guys. Nothing to rave about, I guess. Isaac did well. Isaac was a captaincy option as well, but nothing was missed because Salah obviously scored and assisted against Manchester City. Beyond that, Wissa scored. I brought in Wissa last game week. He scored as well. The rest the team was a bit of a disappointment. Alexander-Arnold clean sheet obviously was a bonus, but everybody who's playing FPL actively actually has him, so nothing much to rave about. So this week there's not much to do in my team actually. I think my team looks pretty settled. Yes, I had taken a punt on Trossard, and it didn't. Kind of against Leicester, he scored 6 points. He assisted Merino. Last game week, Arsenal was actually abysmal. So it's not about Trossard. It's about Arsenal as a whole. They lost the title last game week when they lost to West Ham, and Liverpool kind of beat City. I think they've lost the title there. I don't think there's any coming back from this. So I'm getting kind of second thoughts about my my Trossard transfer, and I'm kind of. Although my team looks good for this game week, and also I had a problem, not a problem, but I had 12 points from Joao Pedro on my bench, so I kept starting him all these previous game weeks, and he never kind of returned any points. And one game week when I decided to bench him because he wasn't in the starting lineup for the past 2 game weeks, this guy kind of comes and scores and assists. Although his performance was still not up to the mark, but at least he did something right. So sometimes these things happen. This is FPL, and such is life in FPL as well. So anyways, I'm gonna answer your questions, of course. So hey Ashish, Light Race, Zara, CAV, welcome to the stream, guys. I hope you're doing well. Ashish says Dinia out, Ryan 8 Nurian. I'd say yes to that, Ashish. I think that's a good move, especially if you're not free hitting in Game Week 29. I think that's a decentish move to make. Hey Light Rays, I hope you're doing well, mate. Hey Zara, hey CAV says, do we have any updates on India from Everton? That's an interesting one actually. Right now, obviously they're rolling with Beto, and they on the other side they've got Doucouré now attacking from the center, and then they've got Alcaraz and Lindstrom playing. I think that a couple of players in the Everton team were kind of down with flu or a fever or something like that. India, I think, is still ruled out, mate. I don't think India is gonna play in this game week or in the next game week as well. So Jesper Lindstrom and I think one more. There's a central midfielder. I kind of his name. I'm forgetting his name. Irogbunum or whatever his name is. Irogbunum. So this is the guy. I think they were both down with fever, but David Moyes said they were both fine. India, I don't think he's close. The only one who's close is Patterson, but he said he's not that close. So India is not going to be not going to be part of the team in I think in the next 2 game weeks, mate. So yeah, FPL Sam says, hey Wiz, I'm early tonight. Great to have you here, mate. That's awesome. FPL Sam, I'd like to have you here more often, mate. I hope you're having a great season too. Neil says, hey Wiz, I took -8 Rogers, Elanga and Gabriel to Ambumo, Bowen, 8 Nuri, rank 390, push for 100k or better. Neil, I think those moves are pretty good, to be honest with you. Did they deserve a -8 this week? I am not sure. I think these moves could have been spread out over 2 game weeks, in which you could have made 2 moves. For example, got somebody like Ambumo and 8 Nuri and maybe or a Bowen and 8 Nuri, and then brought in Ambumo in the next game week. But I mean, entry point for Ambumo this week is Everton at home, and considering that Everton have been doing well but still conceding goals, so that's not bad. I mean, the money game for Bowen is also this game week, with the game being against Leicester. So I understand why you did that, but the problem is the -8. So I mean, both Bowen and Ambumo have to score just to kind of justify these hits, mate. So I'm not saying it's a bad move. I'm just saying that it's just you're kind of now relying on them to kind of cover your hits, and I hope they do. I really hope they do. Lighter says, I think this season has the most active managers we've ever had in an FPL season. It's a constant battle. Yeah, I agree with that, Light Rays. But to be honest with you, there's lots of water still left to flow because of the fact that we all still have our main chips left, right? So just playing the assistant manager makes us think that we've done something, but really the entire arsenal of chips that we always use, kind of free hits and bench boosts and wild cards and triple captain, we kind of have those chips right now, and I think it's gonna make a difference to the outcomes at the end of the season. You still can easily make up rank, provided you play your chips right. So yeah, that's something, mate. Although I'm happy that there's more active FPL managers. I've always said that at the start of the season, yes, we talk about 8 millions and like 9 million, 10 million, but then they slowly kind of start to wear off. But I'm very happy that there's more active FPL managers. Just makes the game more fun. In the end, we're all proponents of the game. Bot Bowen, team fairly locked, armband on Palmer. I mean, my only doubt right now, to be honest with you, is whether I want to bring in Bowen or whether I want to bring in Ambumo. Issue is, if I'm bringing in Bowen, I'm going for the differential, but I'm playing against a 40% owned player, and when he scores, that actually hurts my rank a lot. So that's actually on my mind as well. Whether I want to go with Bowen or I want to go with Mbeumo, and I will make one transfer, because in the end, a second thing which is also on my mind is, for example, if I take out Trossard for Mbeumo, then I'm taking out a player who's actually playing in Game Week 29 for another player who's playing in Game Week 29. So I'm not replacing a non-playing player with with a playing player. I'm actually replacing a playing player with a playing one. So it's a bit dicey for me as well. I'm thinking about that, and I'll make my decision closer to the end of the stream. Todd says, hey Wes, hey everybody. Hey Todd, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well, mate. I hope you played Munoz, by the way, mate. I am not so sure what you did, but it was a touch and go decision. But when Munoz ended up scoring, I was wondering. CAV says, I'm not thinking not to free hit in 29, would need to get rid of Rogers and NDI to field a full 11. May just wait on NDI news and move Rogers on this week. Yeah, I mean, you don't need you don't need 15 players for Game Week 29, right, mate? So I mean, Rogers is, if you got a lot of value attached in Rogers, you can actually just put him on the bench and build a team around the rest of your players. But if you want to move him on, that's absolutely fine. You just need 11 players. And, because the fixtures are so tough in Game Week 29, we should not be expecting a lot of fireworks. But, I mean, if you look at Game Week 29, there's not really many good fixtures that you would like to target. Maybe Manchester City versus Brighton. Maybe you could go for a Marmoush or, somebody like that. But, maybe you can go for Cunha from Wolves because they play Southampton. Even Brentford has a tough game against Bournemouth. Arsenal play Chelsea. Fulham play Spurs. Leicester play Manchester United. I mean, there's like no really clear-cut good games that you want to target in Game Week 29 as well. So, it's kind of touch and go there, mate. But if you can field 11 players in Game Week 29, I would definitely not use the free hit chip. Babin says Bowen or Mbeumo. Babin, I mean, it's kind of the same thing which I'm kind of... It's the same thing which I'm kind of talking about, right? I myself, I'm in a dilemma about my team, whether I should be going for Mbeumo or Bowen. So I'd recommend you to wait until the end of the stream. You'll get your answer with the transfer that I make. Although if you're chasing rank, I think you're better off going with Mbeumo. If you're chasing rank, you're better off going with Bowen. But the problem is, Mbeumo is a shield, If you keep on attacking with your swords and you don't have a shield, in the end you'll end up being hurt. So, which happened to me as well, so it's touch and go, mate. That's the thing. We can't play template because we want to move ranks, but we also can't exactly go against the template all the time. So it's kind of a very delicate balance between the two, and hopefully I'll make the decision close to the end of the stream, but I hope that gives you a perspective. I was getting Bowen for Rogers. That's a great move, FPL Jugs. I like that, mate. When are all planning to use the free hit other than 29? But there's going to be a couple of double game weeks coming up, FPL Sum, so we can use it then. Or there's going to be a blank game week as well, although it's not going to be a big blank game week, but there's going to be a blank game week potentially in 34, I guess. So that's the time when you can play your free hit. If you want to maximize the potential, you can play your free hit in game week 33 or game week 36, which are potentially going to be double game weeks as well. So lots of things depend on how the FA Cup fixtures pan out. Although we know that there's going to be double game weeks, but we don't exactly know which teams are going to play in them. So it's kind of touch and go, but I don't think free hit 29 needs to be played, because I think you can easily feel the playing 11 without having to take too many hits. I played Munoz for his 11 points along with Glasner score 105. Awesome, man. I'm so happy for you, Jugs. Keep on going. What will your bench look like in Game Week 29? I think mine will be Salah, Hall and Rogers. I think mine's going to be... Salah's definitely going to be there, and Rogers is as well. Maybe I think it's going to be Trent to go along with that. Salah and Rogers, mate. Because I've already got 4 defenders who are going to play in Game Week 29. So I don't need to move on my defenders. So I think it's going to be Maybe I'm gonna move on Isak. If I want to keep Isak, then I'm gonna move on Trent Alexander-Arnold. Salah and Rodgers are possibly locked, not liked, but they're liked as well and they're locked as well. So yeah, I don't really like any Rodgers replacement. Thinking of India to Wissa or Beto, since we don't expect India back by 29 anyway. I mean, Beto is fine, but we should not expect too much from Beto, although I mean Everton, I mean if you want to pick an Everton player, I think right now Beto is the pick to go with. In midfield, if you want, you can think about getting somebody like Doucouré as well. But yeah, I mean if I was you, I'd possibly would want to go with Cunha, mate. I think Cunha is the pick to go for. Even this week they've got all right fixture. I'm like, I don't want to call Brentford. I don't want to call Fulham an easy game. I mean, Wolves, Fulham at home is not an easy game, but with Cunha being Cunha, I think is a great option. Next week, Wolves play against Everton at home, and in the blank game week, they're playing against Southampton away. So I mean, there's really good fixtures for Cunha. So you got Cunha last week, so I don't know why that kind of makes all my talk about Cunha redundant. Yeah, Todd says thanks. You're welcome, mate. Jug says I have Salah, Trent, and Munoz on my bench. Well, that's nice, mate. You're always clear with your clear in your mind about your moves, and I really like that. Neil says I took the hit for the players for 5-6 game weeks. I'm a manager that like to push the limits. I'm not looking to free 29. Going to bench Isak, Salah for blank game week 29, then going to wildcard 31 or 32. That's great, mate. I mean, as long as you've got the perspective, you've got the tunnel vision, I'm pretty happy with the hits. Although as a long time FPL manager, I've realized that in the end the hits just don't stack up in your favor, mate. Sometimes they do. I'm not against taking hits, but I think for the season hits should be limited to maybe very like 5-6 hits. Yes, if there's a special situation that arises, you can go with more hits, but look at all the people who win FPL every year. Look at the previous winners. Study their teams, which I kind of do in the off season when the FPL is off, and look at the number of hits they actually take. They don't take too many hits, mate. So I mean, you got to learn from the best. If you got to be the best. And I remember when I had my best season, I didn't take too many hits at all, mate. I was really, sometimes I stuck with my players, and even in the difficult fixtures, and they would give me returns. And then I realized that sometimes we just run too much after the players which we don't have, causing us FOMO. So. But it's a fine balance, mate. It's a delicate balance, but in the longer term, I think taking lesser hits is always desirable. Yes, lower expectations on Beto, says CAV. Saves me 1.5 million versus Vissa. Got Cunha last week. That's great, mate. Azmir says, hey Viz, I've got 2 free transfers. I have Isak, Vissa, Joao Pedro in, as I've placed Morgan on the bench. Should I hold the transfer or work in bringing in Cunha or Bowen now? Azmir, I mean, if you got 2 free transfers, and if you've got the money to move from Joao Pedro to Cunha in one transfer, I'd do it. But if it takes you 2 transfers, then possibly you can play Joao Pedro and work on getting Cunha next week. It's not about whether you should get Cunha or not. It's about whether you can get Cunha with one transfer. Then I would do it. In place of Joao Pedro, I would 100% do it. Even against Southampton, he got 12 points, but I don't think he was convincing at all. If you look at the stats of Joao Pedro, I think he had 2 shots in the box, or I think 1 shot on target, 2 shots in the box, something like that. Like it wasn't that convincing against Southampton as well. So I mean, so it's touch and go with Joao Pedro. I mean, if I could, I'd simply just get rid of him for Cunha, And I'm still thinking of doing it. I mean, I could play Trossard this week and get Joao Pedro out for Cunha. I mean that's not out of the question at all. But sooner rather than later. As is already happening with me. I mean, Mbumo's coming back to bite me a lot. and I just can't play against 40%. It's very difficult. Juggernaut says, hey, your armband this week, mate. I'm kind of little bit confused between Palmer and Salah. Been thinking of Palmer for a long time. See, guys, I'll rather than I tell you something, let me show you something, because whatever I tell is gonna be based on stats. So why don't I simply show you the stats? Right, there you go. So we're gonna do, so we're in game week 26, right? Let's do game week 20 to game week 26. I think that gives a fair reflection of the form that these players are in. So first of all, thanks to Fantasy Football Fix for sponsoring our streams and let us show their stats online on our streams. This really helps us, and it's a fantastic website, guys. They use Opta stats, and if you're looking to take your game one level up, you should definitely look at Fantasy Football Fix amongst the others as well. So there you go, guys. I'm in 20 to 26. Palmer's got I mean, is it really a comparison, mate? It's I don't know, but I'll still take you through the stats, because I let's just, for the sake of completion, let's start with game week 19. Not gonna make any difference. It's just gonna take Salah point even further. So points per game 9.9, even more. Palmer's 4.5. There's no comparison, guys. I mean, it's just insane. Let me show you. This is the touch map of Salah, and this is the touch map of Palmer. He's been much less look at the shots that Salah's been taking. Look at these big greens, man. It's insane. In that time, Salah scored 9 goals, Palmer scored 2 goals. Expected goals, I mean, Palmer's actually justifying his XG. Salah's actually outperforming his XG. That's the kind of explosive players you really want to captain. 6.6 for Salah, shots 35. I mean, Palmer's not shy of taking shots, but 17 on targets, almost 50%. For Palmer, it's like 33% on target. Shots in the box, you see that? I mean, out of 35 shots, Salah's taken 29 in the box. Out of 26, Palmer's just taken 11 in the box. So that tells you everything you need to know about these players. 5 assists, 0 for Palmer. So total returns, 14 versus 2. I don't know what you want to do here. Expected assists, 5. Palmer 1.7. That's approximately 2. Attempted assists 27-19. I mean it's also the lack of Jackson in these past few weeks which has affected Palmer's assist potential, but in the end we're going to talk about numbers here. Big chances created 8-2, crosses 4. I mean, per game, 0.9. Salah scoring 1 goal a game, Palmer scoring 1 goal in 4 games. No comparisons here. Insane stats for Salah this season. He's the MVP of Liverpool. He's going to win them the league. See, guys, for all the stats which I'm showing you, the only reason why people are thinking, or people like myself are still considering Palmer for captaincy, see, there's 2 things. Either you play to the strength or you play to the weaknesses, right? You want to play to Salah's you want to play to Salah's strengths. Salah is obviously the better option in captaincy, and I don't have any qualms saying that, right? Salah is the better option, mate. And Salah's just got a difficult fixture against Newcastle. It's not the easiest game because Newcastle as well are in form. I mean, but they still conceded 3 goals against Nottingham Forest. Yes, they beat Nottingham Forest 4-3. Isaac scored a lot of points, but in the end, I mean, we're looking at playing Salah against Newcastle, not a defender against Newcastle. So Salah can score goals. Newcastle conceded 3 versus Nottingham Forest. What makes us think that Newcastle cannot concede 3 against Liverpool, right? So that is something. And the thing with Palmer is that Southampton are a shambles. They're one of the worst teams in the league. And that's the only thing which is making people go to Palmer. Second thing with Palmer is that Southampton have their defenders missing. I think Jan Bednarek is missing. And just hang on a second. Before I start speaking stuff, I need to kind of look at my notes. But I know that they've got defenders missing, so yeah, so they just totally, like, if you look at their team, Jan Bednarek is injured, Harvard Bellis is injured. They're just playing with makeshift defense, with, like, they're changing their defensive shape every week, like, I don't know. So Jan Bednarek picked up a knock. He's not going to play. So now they've got Stephens, Manning, and Bree, with Walker Peters playing on the left wing in Wellington, and then in the midfield they've got Aribo, and Dibbling, Kamaldeen. It's just a shambles of a team right now, Southampton. And that's the only reason people are actually considering Palmer, mate. Palmer has not done anything spectacular in the last, like, 10 game weeks, not 10, or maybe like last 8 game weeks, in which makes you think that he's going to score more points than Salah. The only thing is Salah's got a more difficult game as compared to Palmer, and everything else stacks up in favor of Salah. The performance, the form, the form of the team for which Salah plays. Chelsea, we were thinking about captaining Palmer, but in the last game, if you saw the chance that Palmer missed, it was horrific, and they lost to Aston Villa right at the end as well. So it's a balance, guys. It is a balance, and let's see. I'll tell you a very simple thing, a simple equation. If you are kind of in the top 100k, top 150k, 200k, captain Salah, guys. Yeah, and if you're kind of chasing like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, then I think right now, this game week, you can take a chance with Palmer. Asmir says, thanks, Wiz. I'd probably go Joe Pedro to Konya. PS, India was awesome. Absolutely, and India is a wonderful country, provided you know the places you want to go to, and it's a wonderful culture, amalgamation of cultures, and a beautiful vibrant society, man. So I'm glad that you enjoyed India, Asmir, and we'd like to welcome you all to India as well, guys. Just you need to kind of know where the places where you have to go and where not to go. Neil says, I totally agree with you with the hits. I really don't like taking them, and next season I'll try and take less. That's great, Neil. We all need to evolve as players, and if one day we aspire to kind of win the FPL, or kind of get into the top 1Ks consistently, we need to stop taking hits. FPL Dex, I was thinking that Newcastle have a resolute defense as compared to Southampton, and the later are more prone to concede. But that's the only thing, mate. Newcastle conceded. See, in the last game week, Newcastle conceded 3 to Liverpool, 3 to Nottingham Forest, right? Before that, Newcastle conceded 4 to Manchester City. Before that, Newcastle conceded 2 goals to Fulham. Before that, Newcastle conceded even 1 goal to Southampton. Before that, Newcastle conceded 4 goals to Bournemouth. So Newcastle defense has been a shambles, mate. Actually, if you look at their results in the past few game weeks, you definitely want to captain Salah. The last time they kept a clean sheet was actually against Wolves in game week 21, and that time Wolves were a shambles. Cunha was injured, and and stuff. And before that, they conceded 1 to Spurs. And before that, they beat Manchester United. That was the high point when I think Isak, Gordon, everybody was firing. But beyond that, they've not been that good. Newcastle, mate. They're just not. Jug says, I'm at 588k at the moment. Well, that's great, mate. You've got all the chips left. You need to keep pushing. You're gonna do well. AAA says Gakpo to Cunha this week. Yes, 100%, I'd say. We also know that Palmer could easily score 3-4 goals. It's not the same Chelsea for which Palmer scored 3-4 goals. He can. Obviously, he's got the potential. He scored 25 points this season. I'm not saying that he cannot, but you've got to look at the form of the player. You got to look at the form of the team, and you got to look at the form of the opposition. Right now, the only things which stacks in favor of Palmer is the shambles nature of Southampton, but everything else stacks up in favor of Salah, mate. You know, so I'm saying, guys, if you're chasing, you can go with Palmer. Otherwise, there's no point in going against Salah. If you go in the top 100k, 150k, 200k, and if you're going against Salah, I'm not in favor of that, honestly speaking. By the way, we've got lots of games coming up, so hopefully we're gonna get some leaks or something like that. I'm hoping, against hope, obviously, but you never know, right? Looks like Welbeck is with the squad. That's not good. That's not good at all. So basically, guys, because I'm chasing rank, I'm thinking of going with Palmer. If you're in the top 100k, 200k, close to that, don't you should not divert away from Salah. Then I would simply go with Salah. What we'll do next game week when Salah plays Southampton and Palmer plays Leicester? I'll captain Salah, mate. Nothing at all. Care says FPL Sam says the Brighton official video. Yeah, I mean that's fine. Welbeck, I don't think Welbeck was far off anyway, and you know he's been playing in and out of the team. But even if Welbeck plays, that doesn't mean that Joao Pedro doesn't play. That just means that Joao Pedro plays as a 10 or behind the striker, you know, which I think is actually better for Pedro rather than playing as a striker, because he'll still be on penalties even if Welbeck plays. Provided he starts the game, that is, which we're never sure with what's happening with Brighton. But I'm hoping for the best if I play Pedro. Otherwise, I see that's the kind of dilemma in my mind. I've got Trossard, you know, against Mbumo, which I'm not very confident of. Which is the reason I'm actually looking to kind of move on Trossard for Mbumo or Bowen, whichever one I want to get. But then I've got Joao Pedro as well, who I'm not sure is going to start. And then, you know, if he comes off the bench for like last 15 minutes, it actually defeats my purpose totally. I'm kind of in a bit of a fix right now. What to do with Joao Pedro? You know, this is a guy, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Every week I played him, he never gave me any points. One week you place him on the bench and he goes and scores 12 points. It's just absolutely shambles right now. But anyways, you know, I'm just trying to look through the news or any leaks or anything which we can get from Twitter. Yeah, so it's all over Twitter right now that Welbeck is with the squad. Andy just tweeted it. FPL Sam told us in the chat. By the way, guys, if you want, you could take a punt. If anybody wants to take a punt, right, that is, if you can take a punt on Bruno Fernandes as well. I mean, he's got some decent fixtures until game week 29. I'm just looking through Twitter. I don't see anything right now except that Welbeck is with the squad, which doesn't fill me with any confidence. Anyways, let's so Geeta says, hey Sam, Hall, Whitson and Castagna want to bench. I'd bench Castagna against Wolves, Whitson against Everton. I would bench Hall, mate. I think it's logical to bench Hall in this one, mate. Newcastle haven't been keeping a clean sheet. Hall's, you know, yes, attacking returns had been coming, but can't rely on that, mate. Joao Pedro has been the best for me when he's in the bench. Kept him in the long due to price factor, but it's finally time to part. Yep, mate. Thanks for the memories, but it's time to say goodbye. So the thing is, Azmir, I'd say you get Joao Pedro on your bench boost for sure, man. You should remember that. He's been great on your bench. So whenever you bench boost, make sure to get Joao Pedro back in your team. Um, please give us like to the stream, guys. Says I feel like. Thank you so much for the shout out, mate. I really appreciate it. AA says start wood or Nwaneri. I'd start wood over Nwaneri, mate. Is your captain fixed? Yes, Geeta. 80% fixed. Gonna become 100% by the end of the stream, but I think it is fixed. I'm gonna take a chance on Palmer. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. If it doesn't work, it's gonna be an agony to wait 24 hours to watch Salah put like a hat-trick past Newcastle and finally put my season to the end, just like last week they put Arsenal's title hopes to the end. But I have to take your chances. That's the thing. The entire thing is you gotta take your chances. Who to start or bench? Clivert or Wood? Thank you for above message. You're most welcome, mate. Clivert or Wood? I'd start Wood, mate. I think Clivert. It's basically touch and go for me. I don't know, but Wood has been in good form. He's been giving consistent returns. Clivert's got a crazy ceiling, whenever he does perform. But Bournemouth, the last, couple of game weeks, not couple of game weeks. Obviously, they play Southampton, but even in the last game week, they just did not. I just did not find them. It was a game against Wolves. I expected Bournemouth to beat them, but I guess they were, they got upended by that Zabanai red card, and now they've lost Zabanai for this game. It just makes me think that, gonna be a bit of a rocking. They're gonna rock a little bit now, although it's they're a great team this season, Bournemouth. So I'd start Wood, Neil. It's not an easy answer, but I'd possibly just start Wood over Nwaneri. Kukurea in for a -4 from Kirkyash. I'm free hitting in 29. Mate, you wanna get Kukurea for the Southampton game, but after that, just for the 2 games, right? You wanna get in Kukurea. Chelsea's defense hasn't been the best. You never know, they can still concede one goal or 2. You never know with Chelsea. When they're in bad form, they're just not the same. Is my problem. But if you want, but the problem is not Kukurea is bad. The only thing is taking a hit for Kukurea is something which irks me a little bit, mate. If it was for a free, I'd say definitely yes. Asmir says last one was looking at Salah's form and thoughts on triple captain Salah last week versus Southampton instead of another play on the upcoming double game week. You can do that if you want to, Asmir, but technically, you want to give your captain 2 chances. Although Salah's not going to get another double game week is the issue, but because they've already played their double game week, which they're going to get from the Carabao Cup final. But by the way, guys, there's another little bit of a spike in this game, which I think many of the content creators did not mention. Eddie Howe would not want to lose this game because there's a Carabao Cup final against Newcastle for Liverpool as well. So Eddie Howe would want to kind of, test his team and test the way they're going to play against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final, because Newcastle are not really playing for the league right now. Newcastle are playing more. They're not going to qualify for the Champions League, or maybe they can. You never know, but I think they're mostly going to qualify for the Europa League if they want. So they're mostly playing for the Carabao Cup now, and they want to win that cup. So they're gonna be. It's not gonna be a very easy kind of game. I think it's gonna be a kind of a game of chess in which Eddie Howe's gonna get one up on onslaught, or try to kind of unsettle them, or try to kind of figure out a way to play against them, or test something. You never know what happens in this game, right? So this is something which I've not seen anybody mention this, but I think this is something which needs to be kept in at the back of the mind in this game week. Newcastle versus Liverpool has got another edge to this game as well. Neil says at the moment I'm starting Wood. Yeah, I would do that as well. Highways best Rogers replacement already have Dango. Hey James, I hope you're doing well. You've already got Dango. Jared Bowen, I don't think you have got money for Jared Bowen, right? I mean, if you had money for Bowen, I think I'd go with Bowen definitely, mate. You see, if you don't have money for Bowen, you know, this Damsgaard as well. I mean, if you can think about Damsgaard, he's playing in all the games for Brentford, and he's got this good assist potential. The ceiling with Damsgaard is not that high, is the problem. You know, technically, I'd love if you could get you could get Jared Bowen, but if you don't have the money, then that's the thing which is the impediment. Beyond that, you could. I mean, I've been keeping my eyes on Damsgaard. I think he looks really good as a player for Brentford. I don't really like any other options. Obviously, I don't want to say like Kluivert and Semenyo because you already know these options already. I'm just giving you ones which you hadn't considered before. Bowen for Rogers. I need to move India to good forwards under 6.1. There's not many good forwards under 6.1, mate. I think I said that last week as well. There are not many good forwards in this price bracket at all. You know, the only one is Raul Jimenez, maybe Liam Delap if you want. You know, but not one which you would really kind of want to get. You know, there's Jamie Vardy, but obviously you don't want to go there. Evan Nelson's not come back. Beto, maybe Beto if you want. Beto's been in good form. Yes, I mean you could go with Beto. You know, ever since David Moyes has joined, and the other striker, I mean Calvert-Lewin got injured, and you know, even Ndiaye is injured, and Beto's taken on the baton, and he's been performing really well. So you could think about Beto, but that's the only option that I can think about right now, Abhijit. Benda to Sa. Benda to Sa. Jose Sa, huh? The Fulham goalkeeper. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have known. That's just totally out of my mind, that the substitute Fulham goalkeeper, because Leno always seems to kind of play. I apologize for my ignorance. So Benda to Sa. I think see, I'm not saying Jose Sa is not a good goalkeeper. I think Jose Sa is a very good option, especially considering the next 3 fixtures. I think he's fine. The problem is, do you really want to make a goalkeeper? Do you really want to waste a transfer on a goalkeeper transfer? That's the only thing which you need to consider. I mean, if you want to keep Sa long term, I think that's not a bad option at all, mate. But goalkeepers technically mostly have a low ceiling, which is why we really rarely kind of want to spend our transfers on goalkeepers, is the main issue. Otherwise, I think Benda to Sa is a good move. If you're looking for a goalkeeper, I think it's good. Thoughts on Garnacho? Good momentum into the next wildcard. Mate, I mean, Garnacho's alright, to be honest with you. The thing is not been performing, mate. His minutes are not being fixed. The only person I really want to consider from Manchester United right now is maybe Bruno Fernandes. I personally don't like Garnacho as an option, especially because I feel his minutes are not... I just don't like his minutes perspective. You know, I want players who are nailed on. At this point of the season, we don't want to go with like punts, you know, who we feel are good. We want those players who will play 90 minutes, and then you know, we can judge their potential. Is my problem. So in terms of Garnacho, I'd say not. Let me take you to my oopsie, yeah, transfers page. So I've got 3 options basically this game week, guys, and I've got 1 free transfer. I've got 2.9 in the bank, no problems there. See, I've got Trossard. Basically I got in Trossard thinking that Arsenal's gonna go for the title. Trossard's gonna play most of the games. You know, I thought they're gonna win against West Ham United. They're gonna have momentum going into the Nottingham Forest game, and then he's gonna play in game week 29 as well. So I had a lot of assumptions, and I didn't have the money to go for Mbeumo as well. So that was also a factor at that moment in time. Now I've got the money. I can simply move from Trossard to Mbeumo. That's one option. I can move from Trossard to Jared Bowen, my second option. And my third option is I can keep Trossard. You know, unfortunately, I'm transferring out those players who are actually playing in game week 29, which I really don't like. But I don't have any options at the moment, is the problem. But I've already got Dango, I've got Palmer, you know. And whichever player I bring in, he's going to be playing in 29. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know, whichever player I bring in place of Joao Pedro is going to play as well. So I've already got 9 players playing in game week 29. So I don't think I have got a problem there. I think I'm going to be fine there. The only thing is, you know, transferring out a player who's playing in 29 to rather than transferring out somebody like an Isak or Morgan Rogers who's not going to play in 29 is the only issue. But I think I need to fix my team as well. Hello brother, what's up, says Pradeep. Hey Pradeep, I'm fine. I hope the same for you. I hope you're having a great season. Nothing too much is up, mate. Just considering whether I should which transfer should I make. As always, I hope it's not trumpets. Beto or Wissa? Really unsure. Already have Mbeumo. The extra money could help me a lot in game week 29 to afford. I think you should go with Beto, mate. The only thing is I don't like their fixture this week. I mean, the entry point for Beto is not good. I mean, but Everton, you know Everton, right? You know, under Moyes, they're resilient, they're doing well, and they've got West Ham at home, which is not really an easy fixture, but you know, it's the best which you can get at that moment in time. So I don't think I would go. I mean, I don't think I'm against Beto right now. If you want, I think definitely can go with him. Whom to bench? Watkins, Wood, and Kluivert. I'd bench Kluivert, mate. I would play Watkins for sure. Then I would decide between Wood and Kluivert. I think Wood just edges it over Kluivert for me. CAB says I agree, because Arsenal would be a bit disappointed. You know, I never know how they're gonna respond. But you know, if they want to crumble, you know, you would want to kind of take Wood to take advantage, because I think they all know the title's gone this last game week after they lost to West Ham and Liverpool beat Manchester City. They know the title's kind of gone. So I'm not sure how Arsenal's going to respond, which is why I'm also personally kind of thinking of moving on Trossard, because my logic for bringing him is kind of gone down the drain. CAV says I agree, but only a quick fix, so hoping to catch him whilst he's on form. Yeah, it's going to be alright, mate. I mean, Beto's alright. Everton's playing well, especially when, you know, you've got Doucouré behind him. They're pressing well. They're, you know, taking their chances. You know, you make hay while the sun shines, mate. You know, we don't wait for the sun to go down. We make hay while the sun shines. Mazraoui or Robinson for this week? I mean, technically I would want to play Mazraoui in this game, in this week, because their fixture is good against Ipswich, and I mean, I think personally, if you ask me, I think Mazraoui is going to be alright. FPL Juggernaut says Mazraoui could be injured, but I feel he's going to be alright. I know, I mean, according to my notes, I feel he's going to be alright. Not looking into my crystal ball right now. Just looking at my notes. James says Mitoma or Gibbs-White. Think Arsenal is going to fall hard in the run-up. Well, you know, it depends how they respond. But I personally would not go with Gibbs-White, mate. I just don't think so. I think you go with Wood. you know, or you kind of go with somebody else. I think out of Mitoma or Gibbs White, I think the entry point for the Brighton player is not this week. I think the entry point was last week when they had the game against Southampton. Bournemouth is not an easy fixture, even though they've got like Zabanai suspended, right? It's still not an easy fixture, and I don't feel that this is the right entry for Mitoma this week. That's the only problem I feel we have right now. You know, if I was you, James, I'd look to bring in Jared Bowen if I could. Honestly, I'd look to bring in Jared Bowen. Hey, we start Gakpo or Kluivert. I'd start Kluivert, mate. I don't think Gakpo plays this one, but you know, I personally don't think Gakpo plays this one, mate. You never know. I mean, if you look at the notes about Cody Gakpo, I mean, Slot last week said he's close, so I think Gakpo's gonna be fit. How much he's gonna play, and even if he plays, I mean, he's got a very tough fixture as well against Newcastle, right? So why take a chance with a player who's kind of dicey to start and play? Just play Kluivert, mate. I don't think there's gonna be much difference between the two. I have done a -4 hit for Bowen and Cunha in place of Rodgers and Isak. No Palmer. Hope Palmer doesn't haul this time. Well, the hits you took for the right players, mate. But don't hope, please. If I'm gonna captain Palmer, at least hope he gets one return. Start Konate, Anderson, or Hall. Konate, Anderson, or Hall. I would not start Hall. I would start Konate, mate. Gakpo came off the bench versus City. Yeah, but obviously he had a knock, right? And Slot said he was very close. Even before the City game, he said he was close, but he hadn't trained. So I don't know, mate. I'm not just sure about Gakpo, but if I was you, I'd start Kluivert, mate. Why take a chance? You know, Kluivert's gonna play the whole game. You never know. And Newcastle is not gonna be an easy fixture as well. Hope is the opiate of the doomed. Yes, sir. Absolutely. But we who play FPL are already kind of set for our doom. We are set to be doomed, and all we can do is hope. Because even though we spend hours and hours kind of figuring out our decisions, in the end, all we have is one transfer in our hands that we kind of have to play out, and all this discussion kind of just goes into, obviously there's captaincy as well, but these are the times when captaincies become fairly template. Fernandes, what to do, mate? Do you think he's gonna be a great differential? I think Fernandes is gonna be a good option. I'm not sure he's a differential at 9.6% ownership, but not a very big differential because but yes, as compared to people like Mbumo who've got 40% ownership, Fernandes can be considered as a differential, and I think he's a good option to have because of the fixtures until game week 29. George says was on Palmer, but just seen everyone on him, so might switch back to Salah. George, just captain the player who you feel is going to give you the most points. That's all. Do you think Newcastle defense has weakened? Look at their results after game week 21 and you'll see, Abhishek, how many goals they've conceded. Start one Pickford or Verbruggen. Start one Kirkash or Robinson. I'd start Pickford. I'd start Pickford and Pickford. I don't think Brighton are going to keep a clean sheet versus Bournemouth. So I'd start Pickford and I'd start Kirkash. I don't know, mate. This is a difficult one, fairly difficult one. But I'd say Pickford and Kirkash. Just maybe Pickford and Robinson. I would start Pickford over Verbruggen. Between Kirkash and Robinson, it's basically touch and go, mate. Result prediction, Nottingham Forest Arsenal. I don't want to do that. I absolutely don't want to do that prediction, mate, because I support Arsenal and I think it's going to be biased. But I feel it's going to be a draw. If you ask me my prediction, I feel it's going to be a draw. I don't think Arsenal going to win this one. I think they're going to cement Liverpool's title by drawing the game against Nottingham Forest. Although Arteta was very kind of angry after the result against West Ham United, I just don't feel he has the resources. He has the striker to kind of compete, go toe to toe with Liverpool this season anymore. Who is the best keeper after this game week? I have sells. I want to sell him. Sagar, it depends on what is your horizon. If you're looking until game week 30, you can go with Jose Sa. If you're looking for the rest of the season, then you definitely, it depends on what horizon you're looking at, mate. Bench one among Trent, Gabriel, Munoz, and Colville. Trent, Gabriel, Munoz, and Colville. It's very difficult, Jugs, mate. It's a very difficult one. I'd say Gabriel, but I mean, technically speaking, Gabriel is the one who has to be benched, but you never know with the header and stuff. But defensively, I think Nottingham Forest will score against Arsenal, mate. I'm capping Salah. All the best. Good luck to you. It's a great captaincy option. Hi Viz, how are you? I'm fine, Rohit. Thank you so much. I hope you're fine as well. Please tell me a good mid for the next 5 to 7 game weeks. Jared Bowen, mate. Jared Bowen is good. Start 1, bench 1. Kirkash. This question, I have no answer to that, guys. By the way, I need to make my transfer as well, right? So, if I don't feel that Fulham are going to keep a clean sheet against Wolves. No more than I feel that, Bournemouth are going to concede against Brighton. But if I was you, I'd possibly, you gotta take a chance and start somebody like Kirkash, because, with Cunha in form, I know, but at least Brighton don't have a striker who's in form, that's the only thing which we can say, because there's nothing to choose between them, mate. I have his thoughts on Bowen. I think Bowen is a fantastic option, mate. If I had the option to bring him in, I would. I'm going to play Fabianski. Yeah, I'm doing the same, Todd. On the off chance he gets a start against Leicester, I expect Pickford will come off the bench. That's the same with what I'm doing, Todd, as well. If you saw my team, I had Fabianski in my team. I'm not sure if I made the changes in this. Yeah, I had Fabianski in my team, yeah. So that's what I'm doing as well. Great minds, great wizards think alike. Not great minds. We're all great minds. Great wizards think alike. Mazraoui goal and clean sheet on the way last week. Munoz did the same. I hope for you it happens, mate. So, guys, Todd, everybody, guys, Trossard out for Bowen, Trossard out for Mbumo, or João Pedro out for Cunha. Let me ask the chat. Pedro to Cunha, Trossard to Mbumo, or Trossard to Bowen. Guys, I need all of you to vote before you ask me any more questions. I need your help. Gabriel, Hudson, Hall, Aina, Robinson. Which three would you start? I'd start. Would I start? Hudson, I wouldn't. Hall, Aina. I'd start Gabriel. I'd start Hudson. And I'd start Robinson. Out of these three. Not the best defense this week, mate, but you never know. Can't afford Rogers to Bowen and Mbumo. I can, but I've got too much value attached with him, mate. How much value do I have attached with him, by the way? Let's see. He's 5.6, right? If I want to get him back, I will have to get him back. I can actually move from Rogers to anybody I want to. That doesn't serve my purpose. And that'll give me another headache. I'm 25k overall. Will be captaining Palmer a good idea? If I was you, I would captain Salah, mate. Mitoma or Bowen? I would go with Bowen success. Wow. So everybody seems to think Pedro to Cunha is the move, huh? Wow, man. Insanity. Never thought the chat would say this. Sack to Cunha, Trossard to Bowen -4 hit can pay you more. I don't want to be taking hits right now, mate. I can do Joao Pedro to Cunha and Trossard to Bowen without. I mean, I don't need to sell. Nahal says I would go with Bowen. Interesting. I've got 4 minutes to 3 minutes 30 seconds to go. My first instinct was to go with Bowen because I've got Vissa to cover like Brentford, and also I feel that Everton at home and Aston Villa, Bournemouth, they're not the easiest of games, right? So this is one thing which I had on my mind as well. I mean, Pedro, maybe I can play him for one more game week and then I can move him on for Cunha. Bowen, sorry, my laptop's playing up. Light race, I was like, oh, what is BOS? Yeah, thank you so much for the message. I don't know, man. This is a difficult decision to make. My thinking is Bowen versus Leicester is better than Boom. I totally agree with that. I agree with that. I don't have anything against that. Actually, if I transfer out Rodgers for Bowen, you know, I've got this, and then I don't have enough money for Cunha, you know. That's gonna be a problem. Great stuff. May the force of Palmer be with us. Absolutely, mate. The rest have similar fixture. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. So Rodgers to Bowen, then I couldn't get Cunha. I want Cunha for, maybe I'm gonna captain him against Southampton, so that's out of the question. Bowen it is then, I guess. Nahal has convinced me. I was convinced a bit myself, and now obviously the chat doesn't like Mbumo. I don't know why, but you know, everybody's kind of thinks this. All right, let's go for it. Don't kind of bottle this. Here, no trumpets. If I had the funds, I would go. I have the funds, but I don't want to go. I want Cunha, mate. I want Cunha. Trossard, I don't need Trossard right now. I think Arsenal are done, mate. You know, it hurts me even more. Bumo is great, no issues with it. Just upside. I agree with that totally. I mean, you know, I want to go with. I'm thinking about captaining Cunha or Marmoush or whoever I get in place of Joao Pedro next week. So yeah, Brentford, Wolves, maybe Mikolenko. Captain Bowen, mate. Farmer captain, as I like it. CAV, I mean, I'm doing some upside chasing here, right? I mean, if we captain Salah, we don't wanna. FPL Sam says I think that's reasonable. I want Cunha next week too. Well, you know, we have to plan for the future, right? And yes, I know Isak is there, and I can sell Isak for Cunha. I know that, right? But you know, maybe I want to keep Isak and maybe I want to sell Trent. You never know how things play out in the future. You have Vissa, so I think it's okay to have Bowen over Mbuma. Thank you so much, Todd. Well, the endorsement is here. I've saved my teams, guys. We've got 5 seconds. What? The hamsters. At my rank, I have no regrets to go with Palmer versus Salah cap. Have to chase the slight upside, although it's a 50-50. That's absolutely true. That's what I mean, if I was in top 200k, even 250k, I would not consider Palmer over. You know, I would not have considered Palmer over Salah. The problem is, you know, you have to go for the upside. Even for example, like Colville, it's 3.2% owned. You know, he's a bit of a differential that I have, and you gotta chase the upside a little bit. If you don't chase upside here, then how are you gonna? Zofar got in Cunha for Pedro as soon as the news broke. That's fine, mate. You know, I've got the same. You see, the thought process is the same. Uh, I want Kunya, you know, and you see, I saved the money for Kunya because I want to go from Joao Pedro to Kunya. But maybe if Joao Pedro does well, you know, this game week, maybe I'll move from Isak to Kunya. You never know what kind of gives. But these things you have to kind of consider in your mind. You know, I wanted to keep Isak for this game as well in game week 28, then move him on for Kunya as well. So I'll have Colville, I'll have Palmer, I'll have Gabriel, Dango, Bowen, Wissa, Robinson, Mikilenko, Pickford. So I think I've got 8-9 players for game week 29. I think with a couple of transfers, I will have enough players for game week 29. The only thing is, because I'm thinking about captaining Konya against Southampton. So he was the one who I really want to bring in for that particular game week, right? And if I sell Isak for Konya, for example, I'll have enough money to move from Rogers to Mbumo. So I don't think it's a problem for my team right now. Rogers to Bowen, Palmer captain, says Chugs. That's great. Neil says Joao will get minutes today in my opinion, but long term Joao to Kunya makes total sense. Absolutely, mate. You got Marmoush. I think Marmoush is a great option. Unfortunately, Haaland did not play last week, so that just makes life difficult for Marmoush. But I think in game week 29, I think Marmoush will be good for you, mate. Marmoush will be absolutely great for you. Well, let's see. We've got lots of set of games coming up. I'm excited. Although it's gonna be like crazy 1 o'clock when the games start for me, so by the time the games end it's gonna be at 3 o'clock. But fortunately for us in India, we have a holiday tomorrow. It's Shivratri, and I wish everybody who celebrates a very happy Shivratri, guys. And we're lucky that the deadline is today, and we'll be able to watch the matches at night tomorrow, because we're not worried about going to our work tomorrow. Tomorrow's a holiday, everybody enjoys. So that's a great positive about having the games tonight and having the deadline midweek, especially on Tuesday with holiday for us tomorrow. So this is how my kind of team looks like, guys. I went for Jared Bowen in the end, after a lot of contemplation. I put Robinson on the bench, and I played Colville, obviously, which was, I think, it was the most obvious move. I'd put Fabianski, who I don't think is going to play, so Pickford is going to come in. So I've got a conflict of interest between Wissa and Pickford. I've got a conflict of interest between Dango and Joao Pedro, although not directly, But the only thing I hope is West Ham with Graham Potter. I mean, if West Ham can beat Arsenal, I hope they can beat Leicester 4-5-0. That's all I'm hoping for. I need a differential to bang and, get me up the ranks. Otherwise, I'm kind of just slumbering up slowly towards this 1 million. And I just feel that I'm not going to be able to break this resistance. It's just a very tall order this season to kind of break the resistance. But with 4 chips left, I feel that there's lots of things still to go in this season, guys. And just staying optimistic and sticking to our long-term plan is what's going to help us. If you see my overall rank history, guys, many of these seasons I've been down in like 2 millions, 3 millions, 4 millions until up till like game week 30, game week 28, game week 29, and I still ended up on those ranks, like 98Ks, 100Ks, 13Ks. It's about sticking to your plan, sticking to the long-term vision, so that the variance can help you rather than hurt you. Lighter says, enjoy Wiz. Is it a food festival event? It's a very vibrant event, I'd like to say. If you search for Shivratri, it's Shivji's day, and everybody celebrates it in different ways across India, because India is kind of a multicultural, multifaceted society, right? So even the same festival is celebrated in different ways all across India, and that's the beauty of our country. It's just so beautiful. And definitely any festival in India doesn't go without food, man. Food is like the main main kind of attraction. We've got like different foods for different festivals, and and it's just it's absolutely vibrant and stunning. You just have to be here to kind of experience that. So I'm already kind of looking forward to it for tomorrow as well. Um, so yeah, so basically, guys, it's I think that's kind of all I wanted to discuss for today. The only thing which I wanted to kind of tell you now before I kind of call it a day is that when you're making plans for this, like the rest of the season, you need to, for example, just don't spend your transfers getting in players for the next 1 or 2 game weeks. For example, somebody was asking me whether they should get Jose Sa, right? So Jose Sa is fine for the next 2-3 game weeks, but it's not that you want to have Jose Sa for the rest of the season. So yes, you're gonna wildcard, and that is something which you should consider. And if you're wildcarding in game week 31, then you're absolutely fine to make short-term transfers because you're dead ending your team, right? But if you're wildcarding in game week 36 or before game week 36, or you are wildcarding into 36 because you want to make the most of that game week, and then you have to plan when you want to use your bench boost and your triple captaincies. You kind of have to plan them beforehand. Chuck says Chelsea vs Southampton starts at 1:45. I'll be up till 4 a.m. Well, we've got a day off tomorrow, mate. Might as well enjoy it. I'm gonna make myself a beautiful cup of tea, and I'm gonna read some until the match starts, and then we're gonna have fun watching the games. You're never too late for football, mate. And all my life, the Champions League, I've been watching at night, so it's just a force of habit now to stay awake for these games. Oh, what we do for football. What all have we been doing for football has been crazy. But anyways, guys, on this beautiful note, I'd like to call it a day. And I would like to thank all of you for making tonight's deadline stream. It was really a lot of fun. Happy Mahashivratri, says Sarfroz. Same to you, mate. I wish you the same. And everybody else who celebrate, I wish you a very happy Mahashivratri. And I will see you for next week's deadline stream. I think we're back. I think we're back on schedule on in Gaming 28. Are we? Yes, right. We don't have any weekend deadline stream, and then a deadline stream is back on Saturday on 8th March. Yeah. Right, guys. So on this note, I'll call it a day, and I wish you all a very, very I wish you all the very best for Game Week 20, Game Week 27. I hope you have a great one, especially those who are captaining Palmer. I hope this variance helps us and can help us push up the ranks a little bit. And for one moment, I hope Salah can keep a little bit quiet and score less points than Palmer. Lighter says 6:30 a.m. start here. Well, Lighter, you should catch some sleep and wake up early in the morning to watch the games, mate. I mean, what we do for football is insane, isn't it? Todd is from the US, and we're kind of right in the bang in the middle of it, and then you're like all the way on the other side, even 5 hours beyond our GMT. Is crazy. But that's how football is, it kind of unites everybody across the globe, and that's what I love about it. Alright, guys, so just take care of yourselves. Have a great Game Week 27. FPL Viz signing out. May the arrows be green. Take care, everyone, and I'll catch you for the next week's game deadline stream. Bye.